Good evening and welcome to Sunset News this Sunday evening. As always, we bring you news, community stories, economics, weather and sports. I am Glenora Shipura. Getting into the news tonight, the Environment Ministry will consider if the Fish River Canyon hiking trail should be closed after several rescue operations had to be undertaken since the hiking season opened on the 1st of May. Now concern has spread whether for hikers' safety in the canyon and whether there is truly enough water to keep it open. Just last week, several stakeholders assisted in a rescue operation of 13 people from the canyon, which lasted about 35 hours. Conrad Jacobs, the National Operations Manager for MR 24/7, which was part of the rescue operation, told Namibian Sun the rescue consisted of one person with a broken ankle and 12 others who were ill. They are all South Africans. There were originally 3 different groups who ascended the canyon and had been walking for approximately 30 kilometers. Jacob said that they received the first distress call from their emergency management room in Windhoek last Sunday afternoon. He said that on Monday they still had no proper helicopter for doing a rescue and the insurance would not pay for a commercial helicopter, which can cost up to 300,000 Namibian dollars. We then decided on Monday to dispatch employees of ours from Keetmanshoop to go and help with the planning of the rescue operations. He said that by Tuesday at about 10 a.m., one of their employees saw Nampol's helicopter flying over Windhoek and they immediately contacted Commissioner Florentia Dumbu, commander of the Namibian Police Air Wing Directorate, for assistance. She in turn got in contact with Inspector General Joseph Shikongo and they received approval for the use of the helicopter for the rescue, said Jacobs. He said this was after 3 ambulances were also already dispatched from Windhoek that morning at 4 a.m. to assist. Now within 10 minutes, the police helicopters was ready to assist in flying another 2 advanced life support paramedics from MR 24/7 to the canyons from Windhoek. Getting into our next story, Namibian truck drivers driving through South Africa have been warned to be particularly careful of hijacking. Walvis Bay Corridor Group CEO Mbahupa Shivikwa issued this warning to the transport and logistics industry. He said hijackings are a common phenomenon in South Africa, with the most recent incident taking place on the N4 route in the vicinity of Rustenburg and Mafikeng on the Trans-Kalahari Corridor. Now, truck drivers are at high risk of being assaulted or even killed and are therefore encouraged to be more vigilant and cautious. He said drivers are further advised to drive in convoys and when they suspect anything unusual, to report it to law enforcement officers. In the unfortunate event of truck drivers who fall victim to hijacking and lose their identity documents, they are encouraged to contact the Namibian Embassy in Pretoria for assistance, Shivikwa added. Aino Humphrey of the Namibian High Commission in Pretoria encouraged truck drivers to report their planned routes in advance when they enter South Africa. According to her, there are Namibian officers who in emergencies can go to the crime scene and offer help with issuing of emergency travel documents, among other things. Spike Strips last week, a South African news company broadcast an interview with Richard Brusso of the National Hijack Prevention Academy in which he spoke about a trend where criminals deploy spike strips on main roads to stop vehicles. He said the phenomenon started 2 years ago on the N4 and the N14 roads from Johannesburg, but is now common on all highways in and out of the Gauteng area. The criminals wait a few hundred meters from the spikes to attack drivers and motorists when the vehicles come to a stop, he warned. Snyman Transport Managing Director Saki Snyman confirmed that hijacking is a major concern for truck drivers. Now, the Runtu and Ruacana town councils renewed their cooperation agreement for the next 5 years. The agreement aims to address development issues such as local economic development, environment management, human resource management, infrastructure planning and development, finance and public health. Rundu Mayor Gabriel Kanyanga highlighted that the partnership signifies a commitment to working together for the betterment of their communities, fostering mutual growth and enhancing the quality of life for all residents. Ruacana Mayor Linda Mwale added that the agreement serves as a platform for both towns to interact freely, to exchange ideas, to create joint programs and assist each other in day-to-day operations. The city of Windhoek approved 421 building plans worth $535.8 million in the first quarter of the year, reflecting a decrease of 9 plants compared to the first quarter of 2023. The number, however, marks a significant 171.5% year-on-year increase in value from the low base of the first quarter of 2023. This comes as the pipeline for construction activity in Windhoek picked up in March. A total of 184 building plans were approved in March, representing an 11.5% month-on-month increase compared to February's figure. Now, the value of approvals increased by 56.3% month-on-month and 186.8% year-on-year to 294.1 million Namibian dollars, said IJG Securities. Now, according to IJG, the average time lapse for approved applications was 182 days. The number of applications submitted to the City of Windhoek decreased by 2.2% month-on-month, resulting in a significant 29.7% year-on-year decline in submissions. Now, the number of building plans approvals in March exceeded that of the prior 4 months. Despite this, Windhoek saw a 60.0% year-on-year drop in buildings completed, falling from 75% in March 2023 to 30% in March 2024. The completion of 5 commercial buildings valued at 28 million Namibian dollars, 9 additions at 5.2 million Namibian dollars, and 16 residential buildings valued at 22.4 million Namibian dollars equated to the total value completions of 55.6 million Namibian dollars, said IJG. On the other hand, 150 additions to properties were approved in March worth 89.6 million Namibian dollars. This indicates a 21% month-on-month and 10.3% year-on-year increase in the number of additions in the pipeline compared to last March. Additionally, there was a substantial 165.1% year-on-year increase in the value of these additions. That wraps up our top stories. Moving on, in our entertainment news, Miss Teen Namibia and Miss Namibia's top finalists were announced. We'll take a look at this after this.
The Agenda is a weekly national affairs interview program hosted every Sunday by Namibian Sun editor Toyvon Jabela, featuring a panel of high-profile newsmakers, analysts, and experts. The Agenda aims to reach high-end news consumers seeking informed understanding of national issues. This show is broadcasted on NTV, 1up2.com, and the Namibia Media Holdings Facebook platform. The Agenda focuses on interviews where we put the nation in the hot seat. Contact Agenda at synergy.com.na to get your product and service in the hot seat. The Agenda, focused on today's conversation.
The Miss Teen Namibia organization announced the top 10 finalists for this year's event. The winner will represent Namibia during the Miss Teen International 2025 competition. In the same vein, a preliminary show was held yesterday night at Drompos, where they announced this year's top 10 contestants. The main crowning event is set to take place in July. Let's take a look.
In no particular order, getting one step closer to the coveted title of Miss Teen Namibia 2024 is, drum roll please, Sabona Luhepo. Congratulations, Ramona. Let's make some noise for her. 1 down, 9 to go. The next lady getting closer to that coveted title, in no particular order, is, drum roll please, Miyazuda Hero! I see that table over there, we see you.
According to Economic News, fruit production heavily reliant on imports. We expand on why this is after the break. In our economic news, while Namibia currently only imports 45% of vegetables to meet domestic demand, 95% of fruits are still being imported. CEO of the Namibian Agronomic Board, Dr. Fidelis Mwazi, says significant milestones have been made in Namibia's journey towards food self-sufficiency. In NAB's latest newsletter, Mwazi said that Namibia has made this remarkable progress thanks to the import situation of the horticulture market share promotion scheme. He explained that the MSP scheme is a growth at home strategy by the NAB, which aims to stimulate horticulture production in Namibia and promote the local sales of fresh fruits and vegetables. Mwasi said that since its inception in 2004, the scheme has evolved with a minimum MSP required from traders increasing from 5% to the current 47%. He said that the SCP scheme entails the implementation of closed and open border periods during times of sufficient local production, thus allowing farmers to sell their products without competing with cheap imports from neighboring countries with high economics of scale and significant government support through subsidies. According to him, the successful implementation of these complementary schemes has led to an increase in local vegetable production, with the country currently importing only 45% of its vegetables to meet local demand. Potatoes alone account for about 85% of vegetable imports, highlighting the significant opportunity for increased local potato production to ensure that Namibia becomes 80% self-sufficient in vegetable production in the next 5 years. Let's take a look at our financial indicators. The Namibian dollar trades against the British pound at 23.00, against the euro at 19.82, against the US dollar at 18.41. 2 Namibian dollars and 55 cents gets you 1 Chinese yuan. On the commodities market, gold, copper, and platinum went up while Brent crude oil went down, trading at 1.71%, going for $83.21 per barrel. In international news, the new Solomon Islands PM reaffirms commitment to the One China principle. After the break, we take a look at this.
Introducing 061 Express, brought to you by Synergy in proud partnership with Windhoek Express. Here's your chance to make your voice heard to celebrate the businesses that make Windhoek exceptional. From your favorite coffee spot to the salon that always gets your style just right. It's time to shine a spotlight on the gems of our city. Over the next 8 weeks, it's your chance to vote for your favorites to recognize the best of the best. Nominations open on the 25th of April and close on the 5th of May. To nominate your favorite business, simply save this number, 085 785 6231, and WhatsApp hashtag 061 Express or scan the QR code below and follow the on-screen instructions. By nominating your favorites, you're not only supporting local businesses, but you also stand a chance to win your share of 50,000 Namibian dollars in cash. The voting process will be the same as the nominations process, using the Synergy chatbot and the hashtag 061 Express. Voting opens on June 5th and closes on June 23rd. Make sure to cast your votes for the best of the best. The winners will be announced on June 28th. 061 Express, celebrating the heartbeat of Windhoek. Get ready to make your mark.
Newly elected Prime Minister of the Solomon Islands has described the decision to establish diplomatic relations with China as the most significant choice made by the country since gaining independence over 45 years ago, reaffirming the country's commitment to the One China principle. Former Foreign Minister Jeremiah Manele assumed office as Prime Minister of the Solomon Islands earlier this month after winning the support of 31 legislators in the 50-seat parliament. He sat down with China's Central Television in the country's capital of Honiara on Friday for his first exclusive interview with a foreign media outlet since being elected Prime Minister. In September 2019, the Solomon Islands cut its so-called diplomatic ties with the Taiwan region and established diplomatic relations with China. Manele said by doing so, the country chose to stand on the right side of history. He spoke highly of the development of bilateral relations over the past several years. Let's take a look.
Well, firstly, the decision by the Solomon Islands government to switch diplomatic relations from Taiwan to the People's Republic of China in 2019 brings Solomon Islands to the right side of history. It was a sovereign decision, and if I may say, perhaps the most important decision we have made since independence. The relations between our two countries have grown from strength to strength within this short period of time. As Foreign Minister, I have visited PRC on 3 occasions, and I've had the pleasure to meet President Xi Jinping and other leaders. I expect the relationship between Solomon Islands and the People's Republic of China to grow and be the model for South-South cooperation. My hope is for Solomon Islands to develop into the country that is foreshadowed in our national anthem, and that is a country where we experience joy, peace, progress and prosperity. It is now more than 45 years since we gained our independence, and we are still lagging behind many of our other Pacific neighbors in terms of development, especially in infrastructure. I trust that we can work together with the People's Republic of China under our Memorandum of Understanding on the Belt and Road Initiative to strengthen investment on economic infrastructure and on social and security infrastructure to serve our people better. In just over 4 years, PRC has already done much for Solomon Islands and our people. Many are visible to the eyes, and I wish to acknowledge the government and people of the People's Republic of China for your continuous assistance and support to Solomon Islands since we established diplomatic relations. Solomon Islands is a beautiful and peaceful country. I hope to see more Chinese tourists visiting our shores. Allow me to conclude by reaffirming our unwavering recognition of the One China principle.
Let's now take a look at our weather predictions. Katima Mulilo can expect partly cloudy conditions with a minimum of 15 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 33 degrees Celsius, while Windhoek can also expect partly cloudy conditions with a minimum of 14 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 27 degrees Celsius. Hendy's Bay can enjoy sunny weather with a minimum of 14 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 20 degrees Celsius. While Rehoboth can expect partly cloudy conditions with a minimum of 15 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 29 degrees Celsius. On the other side of the break, we take a look at our sports news.
Connection. It's in the human touch, the feeling of belonging. It inspires us and empowers us, creates clarity from complexity. It starts new conversations, unlocks the power of advice, and makes an impact on your life. At Alex Forbes, we pioneer insight to provide you with advice that connects your decisions of today to your impact tomorrow.
Let's take a look at our sports news. Ruan Achenberg of Windhoek Gymnasium will lead the Namibia Schools rugby team at the SA Rugby Under-18 Academy Week to be hosted in Johannesburg in the last week of June. In our next story, Civics FC beat Swakopmund FC 5-0 in the PST Bet NFA Cup round of 32 at UNAM, while Oreza Savita beat Heros Urikop FC 4-2 on penalties following a 1-1 draw in normal time. And in our next story, Richelieu Eagles captain Gerard Erasmus spoke to us after the announcement of Cricket Namibia's squad of 16 players selected for the upcoming ICC T20 World Cup. Let's take a look.
So with us, Namibia captain Gerard Erasmus. So Gerard, a whole bunch of new players in the squad compared to the previous World Cups. So how do you feel about the youngsters that came in?
Yeah, it's always exciting for us as management and as a squad to welcome not only new talent but that fresh energy that they bring to the squad. So names like Dylan Lager, Pierre Lugnat coming in, that's very exciting for us. Not only does it create good camaraderie and stuff, but it brings a real competition for places in the squad. So yeah, definitely excited about this balance that we have.
Okay, so a lot has been said about the pool that you are in. And yeah, the tough opponents. I mean, how do you feel about your prospects in the tournament?
Yeah, we're still looking to progress. So, we saw in the previous World Cup we played one of our better games of cricket against Sri Lanka and comfortably beat them. So that can happen in a T20 cricket. And, the way that we've closed the skill gap over the last couple of years has been really commendable and something we look to continuously take forward. There will obviously be a little bit of pressure on us to beat Scotland and Oman just as a result of our previous run of World Cups. We've done really well, so there's that expectation that we should do well again. So I think the goal remains to always progress, and a successful World Cup will definitely be to beat the first two teams and then put ourselves in a good place to progress by beating England or Australia.
Okay, so maybe finally just in short, so from today until the World Cup starts, so what does your program look like?
So we're going to leave next week, Wednesday or Friday, and then we've got 6 warm-up games lined up for us in the West Indies. Yeah, they're in St Kitts and in Trinidad, so a good time to start feeling the conditions, the island, Pacific different weather patterns, different pitches that we haven't played on before, and then also to play against good opposition, which is always the key in your preparation, is to play against the best and get a really high tempo game to get onto that level that a World Cup requires. So we're facing, for example, Afghanistan, Papua New Guinea or Uganda, but a game like Afghanistan with some of the best bowlers in the world, that's something that can really push your level up nice and high before the World Cup starts.
Mariki van der Berg bagged her 3rd consecutive Namibian national singles title at the Arrows Bowling Club in Windhoek. Let's take a look at how that went.
I'm here with the ladies national singles champion for 2024, Mariki van der Berg, or is it Vandenberg? Vandenberg. This is the 3rd year in a row that she conquered the title. Mariki, how was the play today in the singles final?
I'm happy to see the youngsters coming through. They are not easy, so you have to fight for the title each time, and I think it was the experience that pulled me through at the end. Yes.
Yeah, I've watched the game, and I think your nerves, the butterflies were there, but they were like in formation, like they put it. Mariki, congratulations. Anyone else that you would like to thank for your achievement for the 3rd time in a year, winning the singles title?
I would like to thank King Prize for being the sponsor. We haven't had a sponsor in a while, and thank you for being there, and thank you for supporting bowls.
Mariki, thank you very much. As is all with me, thank you very much for your time, and once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
In the last of our sports stories, Burnley has been relegated from the Premier League after they could not secure a win at Tottenham, which would have kept their hopes alive. The Clarets, who knew a draw or defeat meant they would no longer be able to catch 4th bottom Nottingham Forest, took the lead when Jacob Bruun-Larsen slid in the 25th minute opener. The joy among the travelling fans was tempered 7 minutes later when Petro Porro hammered in an equaliser. After dominating the second half without finding a way through, Spurs were finally rewarded when defender Mickey van der Ven burst forward and expertly slotted the winner into the bottom corner. The draw would have done a few favours for fifth-place Tottenham, who needed a win to keep the pressure on Aston Villa in the race for the Champions League. Spurs are 4 points behind Villa, with each side having 2 games remaining. Burnley are 5 points behind Forest with 1 game remaining, meaning they join Sheffield United in making an instant return to the championship. And with that, we've come to the end of the broadcast. Thank you for joining me on Sunset News this Sunday evening. Do make sure you join Sunset News on Facebook, on all the NUH platforms on weekdays, as well as on our website 102.com. Sunset News screens on DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 25 every weekday and Sundays from 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. I am Glenora Shipura, and this has been Sunset News. Don't enjoy it without us.